sake and for those who are not here to be able to see the call. You got it. Thanks, Brandon. Brandon's going to keep admitting people while I'm talking to start. So let me introduce myself. Welcome everybody to the May statewide meeting of the Maryland Forward Party. I'm Matthew Byers. I am the state chair, and we're each all the board members are going to introduce themselves for about a minute, and then we're going to talk about where we are with committees and so forth, and we'll wrap it up with a Q&A session when we're all done so that you all get a chance to ask us a bunch of questions. So, like I said, I'm Matt Byers. I'm the state chair. I've been with the Forward Party since September of last year or so, and I'm devoted to finding a better solution for politics than the acrimony that we're witnessing every day. I was a lifelong Democrat and donated many times in the past to the Democratic Party, but I came to realize that my money was being used to fuel anger instead of solve problems. I believe in conversation over conflict, and I want to consider all sides of an issue before making a decision. Many times I thought I knew what I knew. You know, I thought I knew every part of an issue, but after listening to others, I learned that the world is a lot less black and white and a lot more gray than I thought it was. So I'm here to make a difference by helping like-minded people get into public offices so that we can eliminate some of the rhetoric and solve our problems. And that's why I'm here. Brandon?
Hello, everyone. Brandon Barrett here. I'm the vice chair of the Maryland Forward Party. I am in Germantown, Maryland. Been volunteering since last summer. And I think I'm here for a lot of the same reasons that you all are. For many years, a lot about politics did not make sense to me, whether it was negative campaigning, too much money in politics, just a lot of reasons. And the Forward Party, to me, is a path where we can break through the polarization, have real constructive conversations, and really focus on problem solving as opposed to a lot of the the tug of war that we currently see with the two-party system. So again, I'm very hopeful that we can accomplish a lot and really focus on making the real connection with citizens and get away from a lot of the political games we see right now. So again, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brandon. Shiv?
Well, thank you for being here. Shiv Gupta. I run an analytics consulting firm on my full-time basis here, but I joined Forward because, frankly, just like most of you, I'm tired of the bickering. What's more, I see the bickering as taking the eye off the ball. It's distracting us from important issues that we do need to face as a nation. So I'm here for the future of my children, and I'm here for love of country. And I'm sure that probably is reflective of all of you as well.
Thanks, Shiv. Matt Hines, that is.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm the other Matt. I'm our ballot access director. I'm in charge of the signature collection committee and getting Forward Party Maryland on the ballot here. Like a lot of these guys have said, I'm here for a lot of similar reasons. I've always felt politically homeless. I was a registered Republican. I grew up in a conservative family. I went to a very liberal school, kind of felt more like a Democrat, worked on a Democratic congressional campaign, convinced the Democrats were 100% the good guys moving forward, and saw, a brief look of the inside of the Democratic Party, and found out the two parties were a lot more similar than they seemed, even though it's the only thing they can agree on is that they don't agree on anything and that they are the only ones that want to be at the table, even if that means voters shouldn't be at the table. The candidate I was working for at the time was endorsed by the Legacy Forward Party. So that was how I found out about this group and this effort. And I've been committed to helping them ever since. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Cool. Thanks. Mike?
Hi, my name is Michael Laughlin. I live in Suburban Park, Maryland. I'm an engineer by trade, so having the ability to take a look at the system and say, hey, this is fundamentally broken. I've thought that for a long time. And then when Andrew wrote his book and everything else, I was pretty on board with him, and I'm really glad to see this movement gain steam. So glad to put in my effort here and try and get this moving forward.
Great. Thanks, Mike. All right. So many of you probably want to know what we've done so far. Last time we talked to you was November of last year. Before that, August. Before that, July. So it's been a while since we communicated with you. And we've been really, really quite busy over the last 3 months. We did a call for open board elections in February of this year, and we held those elections, and the members you see in front of you were the ones that were elected because they were the ones that ran for office. We hope to get more of you involved in that process in the future, but we're what you got now. So we think we're a pretty good group. We have a lot of good discussions. We have a lot of good sense of humor with each other. We enjoy working together, and we really want to engage the rest of you in that process. We held our first board meeting March 5th of this year, at which we worked out the bylaws of how our nonprofit organization is worked. We had some differences of opinions, but that's okay. That's what we do, right? We're allowed to differ and yet not fight about it, not get acrimonious about it. So we did great, and we established excellent working relationships. And then we basically established a weekly meeting schedule, and we've been meeting with each other 2 hours a week plus every week since then. And I really can't tell you the number of hours these guys have put into this, but it's in the hundreds. And so I'm really grateful to them for all the work they've done. So what results do we show out of all that? We held negotiations and worked out the affiliation agreement with the National Forward Party. What does that mean? It seems like a small, pedantic little step, right? But it was really critical for establishing ourselves, one, as our own nonprofit organization. So we have protection for ourselves and for our volunteers from lawsuits, as well as we can set up a bank account and rent our venues and purchase equipment and provide supplies for our volunteers and all that kind of good stuff. But more importantly, it set us up as an entity, an actual person, if you like, that National could work with and that they could sign an agreement with. And they knew who we were and we knew who they were. And so we now have this affiliation agreement. And this was not a small step. Not many of the states that are out there have actually gone through this complete step. So the fact that we were able to push it through in a couple of months, I'm pretty proud of. And part of that is due to the board members you see sitting in front of you. And part of that is due to the fact that I'm kind of a bulldog and I don't let a bone lie down. So all that seems really great. Hope you all heard the big news on the 4th of May, just 12 days ago. Forward said, you know what, we're going to change our strategy. We're not going to try to do all 50 states at once. We're going to go with 12 states. And we're going to make those 12 states our battleground states. And if you guys didn't see this press release yet, you can see it now, and it's on our website, and hopefully Heinz has pasted in the link for me. But this made us one of the 12 states. And why did Forward choose us? Forward chose us based on strong leadership, national relevance in politics, ballot access viability, and affiliates and party switching projections. So what that means is the ability to create affiliates and to convince people to switch parties. And they did all of this analysis, and they thought, hey, Forward sounds like a good, or Maryland sounds like a good state to go with. So we got on the list. So congratulations, everybody. We are now in the bullseye. What this means is that they're going to give us increased resource and guidance. And we're going to get into that. So the guidance came out yesterday, and we haven't had real conversations with National at the moment. Leslie on the call right now. Thank you for joining us. Leslie is part of the National team. I think Trevor will be joining us later. I didn't expect you, Leslie. I'm sorry. Would you like to introduce yourself briefly? No. Okay, she doesn't want to introduce herself. Okay, that's fine. Leslie's great. She used to be a volunteer. She got hired by National. She's been really critical of helping us along the way. And yeah, awesome. Okay, so we spent hundreds of hours as a board so far, mostly, like I said, by the 5 people in front of you, but by some other people too. John, Philip, Bill, Pete O'Kay's on the call, I can see. I'm just looking at names I can see at the moment. Ben Smith is on the call. Lots of people on the call helped us out along the way. But the point I'm trying to make here is we spent hundreds of hours so far. We need thousands of hours more. Okay, we're just getting started. We are at the point where we can do stuff now, and that's great. But we are just getting started. And each of you is going to play a critical role in helping us get there. So we need your help. So when we ask for your help later, I hope you'll step up and say yes. And now I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let somebody else talk. So I think that's you, Heinz.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. I'm the other Matt again. As I mentioned earlier, I'm in charge of our ballot access process, which compared to many of the other states out there, we actually have it kind of okay. It's a big task, but compared to some of the other states' process that they have to go through, we're looking pretty good. But central theme here, we're going to need your guys' help to get it done. In order to get on the ballot, we need to collect 10,000 signatures of Maryland voters. Now, this is not people who are signing to change their party registration. This is not people signing to support any specific candidate. This is just simply signing to allow us to exist, to allow us to give this experiment a try. So it's a simple ask, but it's time consuming when we need 10,000 of them. And the reality is 10,000 right away means that we're assuming that none of those signatures get thrown out or challenged. So our actual goal is 17,500. And that's a number that we've come to based on advice from nationals, based on our contacts at the Board of Elections, and just kind of anecdotal experience from states that have already started or completed this process. Board members here, a number of the volunteers on the call tonight have already started helping us with this process. We are currently over 300 signatures, which we're pretty excited about. We have only recently started the collection process. We've had a couple of events that have been very successful. We're going to get into those in a little bit. But none of these events would be possible without our field captains. And our field captains are people that help me organize around the state. There are a couple of them on the call here tonight, John Caves, PJ, Ellen. These people have put their hands up and said, I'm willing to help you with my time and help you organize and help build out a network statewide. Because while 17,500 is a small number compared to what Texas needs, it'd take me a long time if I had to go out with a clipboard and do it myself. So I'm very appreciative of their efforts. And to that note, I'm looking to add 20 more people to that team statewide, not just in Montgomery County, not just in Howard County and Carroll County and PG County, statewide across all of the counties in Maryland. I want at least one field captain in every county. But anyone who's willing to put their hand up and say, hey, I'm willing to help with that effort. I'm here as a resource for you. The other field captains are here as a resource for you. The board, the national team, everyone is here to empower you to help us with this movement. Because it's one of these situations where many hands makes light work. So if you are interested in that, there'll be opportunities to sign up for it. Dropped later on in the chat. But we really do need your help there. And I'm hoping that you guys will come join our team. We're a fun group. If you don't want to be a field captain, you don't have the time. Totally understood. This is an entirely volunteer movement. I think we should, take note of that for the board members, for the field captains. Everyone is giving their time and is not being compensated financially in any way. We're doing this because we know it's right. So if you just don't have the time, totally understood. You are still totally wanted to come help with these events. You don't need to plan them. We have forward-facing roles. If you're more of a talker, if you want to get out and work the crowd, we have a role for you. If you're more of an introvert and that does not sound appealing at all, but you still want to come and help, we have a role for you. We're doing a two-step process where we're not only collecting the signatures, but we're verifying them ourselves and uploading that information into our database. So we're building out our voter network and issues that are important to them. And there's a lot of data input in that as well. And that needs to happen on site right then and there, or else we kind of lose track of everything. So we have forward-facing roles, data entry roles. There's something for everyone to get involved in the signature collection process. So any way that you're willing to help us, we're more than happy to take you up on it. And we can start with that tonight. One of the things that we discovered throughout this process was virtual/online signature collection is allowed. So I'm going to ask Matt to drop a link in the chat just now. What he just sent is a link to our very wonderful website that several board members here, Matt and Michael and others, have spent countless hours updating. There is instructions and the form to download and sign yourself. You can sign the petition. And I'm also going to ask that you not only sign it yourself, but you'll see that there's 5 slots on the signature form. See if you can find 4 other people to sign it. People you live with, people you work with, friends you're going to see next week or the week after. This is going to get done a little bit at a time. You know, big events where we get big chunks of people, that's great. You know, farmers markets, Major League Baseball games, NFL games, going where the people are, that's our big strategy here. But a lot of this is going to get done by people just getting their spouse, their children, if they're of voting age, their coworkers, their friends, to sign on and help us with this process. So that link will take you to the website where there are instructions on how to fill it out, how to print it, how to fill it out correctly, and please write legibly. You'll be able to type in a lot of the stuff, but please make sure your signature is clear. The Board of Elections would love to throw it away. And then we're going to ask that you print it and mail it back to us so we can file it. If everyone here on the call does that tonight, I'm not sure how many participants we have in total, but there's 5 slots on the sheet and everyone fills that out. That helps us put a big dent right away here on a Wednesday night, on a Tuesday night. So if everyone could go ahead and do that, it'd be a big help. Please feel free to contact me. I'll put my email in the chat once I'm done here. There's some other ways that you can sign up to help that we're going to get to later in the presentation. But it's all hands on deck for signature collection. So anything anyone can do to help, it's much appreciated.
And you find yourself with nothing to do and you filled out your form, download it, print it again, or print another copy of it. Keep filling them out. You can do as many as you like.
Just to clarify, you can only fill it out once, but you can get other people to fill it out. And if you've already attended an event with us, please leave yourself off the form, but please do print it out and see if you can get 5 people to fill it out. This is going to get done one form at a time, and there'll be good days and bad days, but we definitely need your guys' help to get it done. So with getting involved and signing and all that fun stuff, I'm going to turn things over to Michael, who's in charge of events and outreach.
Thanks, Other Matt. So yeah, my name is Michael O'Loughlin. I am in charge of events and outreach. So I'm working very closely with Matt right now on events for us to go and get the signature collection. Things that we have done previously, the 2 big ones were we had a Canvas in Olney where we were going door to door, and also did the Olney Days event where we were able to gather over 100 signatures in one day. And that was a great event. We were able to test out all the materials that we have, test out the tools, and really be able to give success to anyone who's going to throw their own event here. Going with that, if you post the events link that will be posted, you'll see the new website that has the calendar of events that we do have currently. There is also a button down the bottom to host your own event. I suggest if you want to see something close to you and you have a little bit of time to get it together, by all means, we have a wonderful document that is able that will walk you through step by step with what you need to do, kind of help you think through what to do when you do host your own event and what will be needed. And I really highly recommend it. We'll really need to have events from everywhere, from Ocean City to Frederick, all the way out to Western Maryland. So, and just the 5 of us can't do that all on our own. So we really need everyone's to kind of pick this up and go with it. So with that also, like I said, so that's the events portion. I also have the outreach, which will, with the new website, we essentially need to reach out to everyone that's signed up for our email list again, because we will have a new email broadcaster. So we need to have them come in, sign up on the MarylandForwardParty.com website instead of just ForwardParty.com, and that will get them into our data ecosystem and be able to work from there. So there's going to be a huge effort now in getting everyone signed up again. On top of that, there is a volunteer job board, which for the volunteer openings link. If you go there, there is essentially departments that you can click on. You can click on each department and see what jobs are available there. If anything interests you, one thing or many things, fill out however much you want, and that will get you in contact with that department head, and we will be able to talk to you and get in contact with you and point you in the right direction on where we need things to go. The last thing is just kind of, let's have fun, even on, small day-to-day back and forth talk and everything else. I highly recommend everyone, let's join a Discord, be able to get talking with one another. We're able to throw ideas around a lot quicker than emails or, trying to find a time when everyone's available for a phone call or anything like that. So there are Discord instructions. So yeah, you get to stay in the loop, real-time information dissemination, and it's great too. You're able to, if you have a thought or anything else, you can kind of go back and forth with lots of people. That is really a great resource as well. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brandon. We will talk about communications.
All right, thanks, Mike. Yeah, so communications, these are very important for us to connect with supporters, reaching out to the public, and we have a few types of media that we are either currently using or that we plan to use. Starting with the first thing you see on the slide is our owned media. So this is our Nation Builder and our state party website. So Nation Builder is our supporter database that we use to contact supporters. We use it for mass communications and event tracking. So all of the emails that you're getting from our team, we're using Nation Builder for that. And it also helps us post scheduled events. So this event, any other events are being tracked in Nation Builder and linked to the state party website. And then again, a big shout out to Mike and Matt for the new website that just got launched. Looks great, and I think everybody's gonna like it. I love it. So on that state party website, again, which is linked to our supporter database and Nation Builder, this will show you upcoming events, blog posts, news links, and links to help volunteers and you get involved. And again, I know Mike also shared some of the details earlier. With the shared media, so that's our social media, social networking. We currently have active Twitter and Facebook pages. We have an Instagram account that's ready and waiting for the right person to help run it. But we do have Twitter and Facebook pages that are active. A lot of posts going out daily. Earned media. So we started connecting with news outlets and local media to build partnerships, and also to be able to submit and post press releases, articles, op-eds that we're working on. In addition to the release that Matt showed you earlier about Maryland becoming a battleground state. Sorry, just omitting someone. Sorry, made a false click there. There was a recent article in the Baltimore Banner about the Maryland Forward Party, and we hope to have more press releases soon. We're also working with the HQ team, and they've supported us and recently provided a list of press contacts to help with this effort. And when it fits our budget, we'll try some paid media, which are boosted social media posts and digital ads that will help increase our scope on our messaging. And just to let everybody know on this call that we do have an open position for our communications chair. So if you or anyone you know has communications background and would like to help and use their skills to grow this party and build a team here, we'd love to hear from you. So just to let you know, we do have that open position among many other open volunteer positions, but that's an important one that we could really use the help for. And then the next slide, I think, is over to Shiv.
Okay, everybody. We hit a couple good, important milestones. Small milestones, but important milestones. One, we are among the top 5 for fundraising of all states, state parties, and forward. So that's a big deal. We need to congratulate ourselves there and recognize that that's a good step forward. We met a goal of $5,000, and really this goal, while important, because what it did is prove to the National Party that we're in it to win it, that there's a commitment on our end. But nevertheless, the requirement for us is going to be multiples and multiples more. And there's a lot of good activities we need to be able to fund in order to be able to hit our goal for this year. So 5,000 is just the start. What I would say, as you guys think about your level of commitment or how you'd like to participate, and I know I'm probably speaking to the converted here, but a lot of us, we think, well, why is America so beholden, our politics beholden to special interest groups, to powerful individuals? And the one thing I'd say is because they participate in politics versus the most of us voters don't. And even though we may be small fish, when we get together, we can actually be pretty powerful force. It's a matter of doing that. So I'd encourage you absolutely to volunteer. We need feet on the ground. But if you can't for some reason, or if you feel that you can do more than just volunteer, I'd encourage you to think about donating because we have significant needs. And I'll give you a few examples here. Just $5,000 alone is what we need to be, $600, apologize. $600 alone is what we need to actually get all the pages printed out for our ballot. And it's just the beginning step of what we need to do. A $300 donation helps us do some digital campaigns that are highly localized. So if we're going to be at a farmer's market, if we're going to be at an event in whatever county or whatever city, we can actually do a digital drive a week before and make individuals aware that, one, we're going to be there, and then two, that we're out there and what this is about. So that's very helpful in getting more interest when we show up in person. A $200 donation helps us buy the space in some of these events. These events can run from $2,000 up to $500, depending on how many people are there and how big of an event this is. And maybe, I think I've even heard of a couple that might be in the thousands. We need money to be able to buy space at these events to do these activities. $100 donation helps us buy literature, print material, buttons, things like that we can hand out to individuals who show up at these events and booths. And even as much as a $50 donation helps provide refreshment for our volunteers who are generously giving up their precious time and energy, often on a weekend, and during the summer it gets hot. And so having some water, some cold drinks available, just some refreshments is pretty important to keep everybody motivated and running on full steam. So these are just some examples. There's a lot of other things we should be doing and can be doing with the money, but there's a significant need here. So I'd encourage you to certainly consider giving of your time and energy, but also of money if you can. What we would tell you is if you can commit to $25 a month, if that seems reasonable to you, you get a T-shirt. So that was an idea I guess we stole from NPR, but we don't have tote bags, so you're getting a T-shirt. But nevertheless, this is going to be something that we can help recognize your contribution. And I think, are these the newest ones, Brandon, or are the ones with the other logo?
There's a couple designs out there. Yeah, there's the logo that you're wearing, and then there's also moving forward together or forward together T-shirt. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So there's a couple types of T-shirts out there. But yeah, so thank you very much for your time and energy today. But please do consider donating to us. And the donation link, Matt Hines has posted already on the chat.
Thanks, Shiv. And Brandon, I think you were next.
Yeah. Me again. All right. So moving forward, what's ahead for us? What's next? It's really hard to probably put all of this, everything that's ahead in one slide, but we try to narrow it down and get some bullet points here. So we have a lot to do to become a viable party and to remain durable for the long term. And two of those very important aspects right now are getting ballot access and the ability to run candidates. So you heard Matt talk about our signature collection effort and the task at hand for this year that we're trying to complete by the end of the year, beginning of next year. And that will allow us to then run candidates in 2024. So again, first, we need ballot access for official party status. And once we submit the signature petition to the Board of Elections, our governing board will have 90 days to write the party bylaws and constitution. And there's a few steps in there to get through at that point. And then having party status, that will allow us to run candidates under the Forward name. So all through this year, signature collection, candidate recruitment will be happening in parallel. And I think we might have mentioned before, our revamped website has a candidate application link for anyone interested in running in county, city, or state elections. And so when we have candidates and as we expand the party throughout the state, this will really help push our priorities of election and voting reforms. Those are our main priorities, right? So again, as a reminder, Maryland has completely closed primaries. And if we are able to enact nonpartisan primaries, it would give all unaffiliated independent voters a real equal voice in our elections in the state. And that alone would be an amazing accomplishment if we could help push that through, because there are close to 900,000 Maryland registered voters who do not have a voice in our primaries. Additionally, there you go. Thanks, Matt, for the stat. Additionally, the Forward platform supports 3 types of voting reforms: ranked choice voting, which is probably, if you've heard of any of these, is probably the one you've heard of, the more popular one; approval voting, and star voting. Now, there are differences at all. I definitely recommend you looking into all 3 of those so you can kind of understand those differences. They all provide voters with more choices on the ballot. So you have more preferences you can make within each of those. And again, there's technical differences. Ranked choice voting does have some momentum in Maryland. But we feel any 3 of these are improvements to the current status quo, which is your regular plurality voting. And again, different states, different jurisdictions are pushing, the reform that they think works best for them in different places. So another key aspect here is in Maryland, voters cannot introduce ballot initiatives. There are referendums that can be started by voters, but voters cannot introduce ballot initiatives. So that's why having Forward candidates is going to be really important, and to have also other aligned officials so that we can enact legislation for these reforms. That's going to be huge for us. In addition to the reform initiatives, we want our party and our candidates to really focus on local issues and to maintain that close connection with citizens, with voters, even after they get elected. So through that, right now, as far as data collection effort goes, we will be gathering some survey data with the app that we're using for our signature collection. So we'll be getting some information that way. But as we grow, we'll really need to increase this effort so that we can give our candidates more targeted insights and just kind of improve that knowledge base as we move forward. Right now, we're also strategizing with the national team and getting their continued support throughout all of this. There's a state lead network. There are state leads around the country, state leads in the different battleground states. We're working with them to share ideas, volunteer resources where we can. So states nearby, we're asking them to help out on those border towns to help us with signature collection. And throughout the year, we're going to have continuing events in person, online. A lot of those will be mainly focused on signature collection and fundraising, but we're open to any events you want to get involved with. And I know that Shiv covered the fundraising part, but again, I just want to thank anyone who's donated so far. All the donations are really appreciated. Again, Shiv kind of listed it out for you. what those donations can do for our team, our party, to help with events. Before we move on to the next slide, I know Matt's going to take over here. I just want to say a couple other things. So, sorry, I skipped over. Throughout, moving ahead, the volunteer recruitment is going to be very important, and I know we've talked about getting all of you involved. We want to help you get involved. We want to hear your ideas. So that's that's going to be ongoing throughout all of this. The last thing I'd like to say is, an important movement like this is bigger than any one person, bigger than any small group of individuals, but it does take people to keep it moving, right? And I just want to take a moment. I can't thank enough the other board members on this call and all the volunteers who put in their tireless energy. You've heard of everything that Mike and Matt have done for the website, Matt leading signature collection, Shiv with all his ideas and fundraising efforts. We would not be here without them. Like this could not happen. And we want to help all of you and others get involved as well. Because it does take people to move along, even though this is bigger than all of us. So again, we really appreciate you giving your time tonight. We know this is people's free time. Again, we thank you all, and I'm looking forward to moving forward with everybody. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, Brandon. And so I'll just echo that. Brandon was the first Maryland volunteer. So congratulations, Brandon. And thanks for being on the team. Thank you all for coming tonight. We're going to open up Q&A in a second and let you guys start pestering us with questions. What's our ask for tonight? Our ask is go to the website, sign up, donate if you can, volunteer if you can. Spread the word. Talk to your friends. Get the petition. Sign the petition yourself. Get 4 more people to sign the petition. That's our ask for tonight. All right. We've all given our time, talent, and treasure to this laudable but perhaps crazy goal. So here's to the crazy ones. We're asking you guys to give your time, talent, and treasure too, and we're going to be nothing but appreciative of it. So on this slide, you'll see that our email, maryland@forwardparty.com, and the website, brand new, just opened about an hour and 45 minutes ago. We've been working on it all day. I'm not sure Mike and I got anything else done today. But it's looking pretty good, and we're pretty proud of it. So we hope you guys enjoy it. And if you have suggestions, comments, concerns, what have you, send them to us. Send us an email. We want to hear everything you have to say. And before I open up to questions, I just want to take a moment to introduce Trevor Maloney. Trevor, you there? Say hi to everybody.
Hey, folks.
Trevor's the Chief of Staff to the Director of Communities and Building at Forward National Headquarters. And he's going to be our main contact going forward now that we've been declared a battleground state. And so, like I told you, National's devoting resources to us. Leslie is also on that team. So thank you for joining us tonight, Leslie. And we're grateful to have you guys. And I'll let Trevor say a few words.
Sure. And I'll keep it short. I just want to highlight, it's been a long day for me, I'm sure for Leslie as well, but I can't tell you how exciting and exhilarating it feels to hop into all of these meetings, different state meetings, and to see this kind of commitment and energy for this vision and this mission. I come from Democratic politics where I sort of managed campaigns up and down the ballot. That has always been exciting for me. I have grown disillusioned with our party and with national politics in general. So the past few years haven't been so great. But I'm now a month into the job here at Forward, and I feel like a kid in a candy store. I'm really excited to see this kind of energy and commitment to this cause. So I'm looking forward to working with you all over the next weeks and months. And Leslie, I don't know if you want to chime in and say something really quickly, but looking forward to the work ahead.
I would just say that if you guys are thinking about volunteering, you have a really great team to join. All of the team here has been really working their ass off. I know that they've been working really hard on the website, but just even before that, I know you guys have really been putting in a ton of work into making getting to this point that you guys are a battleground state, that you guys really have like a good team set up, that you're able to have that foundation to bring more people into the fold. And so I'm really proud of you guys. I'm happy that I got to start with the Forward Party with Brandon as some OG members, and that I get to see all the progress that you guys have made. And that now I'm able to work with you guys more closely with organizing and really just take all of the call to actions that they mentioned today during the meeting to heart. The only people that are keeping the movement going are regular people like this team, like everyone that has put their time into the forward movement. So if something's not getting done, get involved, ask how you can help, and really to try to take action.
Thanks, Leslie. Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate that. All right, we're all gonna shut up. It's your turn to talk. So unmute yourselves or raise your hand. Probably that'd probably be best. Raise your hand and we'll call on you, because that way we don't have everybody trying to talk at once. Fire away. Emlyn. Did I
It's
say that
hi.
right?
Yeah, Emlyn, you said it right. I'm actually Paula. Emlyn, it's his computer I'm using, my husband. But I just wondered what you meant by battleground state.
Yeah,
I came
sure.
a little late, so I might have missed some of the information.
Yeah. We did cover that, but I'll cover it again very quickly. So on the 4th of May or something like that, Forward National changed their strategy from a 50-state strategy to a 12-state strategy, where they're going to concentrate most of their efforts. I shouldn't say all their efforts. Trevor would kill me if I said all their efforts, but most of their efforts on getting ballot access and running candidates in 12 states. And we became one of those 12 states. And so that's what we meant by battleground states.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else got a question? Who wants to know how to volunteer? Sander.
No, I'm not looking to figure out how to volunteer, but I do have a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Just this is, I don't know, more hypothetical, strategic. I'm not even sure how to phrase it. It seems like most of the people, at least on the board or have spoken, have a Democratic background. I know obviously this is not specifically Democratic or Republican Party, but how are we reaching out to, I'm going to say Republicans, because it seems like more Democrats are involved here. How are we trying to get those folks involved so we're not just, I'll say, pulling votes from Democrats, which, might be not in everybody's best interest.
Sure. Go ahead, Mike. I know you're dying to take this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't mention it on my introductions, but I do lean a good bit, or do lean more right than most of my other board members here.
All right.
One of the things I am looking at is outreach to some of the, I would say, Hogan Republicans that are starting to get very disenfranchised with, especially the Maryland GOP, as well as there are some libertarians as well that, with all that's going on nationally in the Libertarian Party, I've been talking to privately on some of them, trying to reach out to some of the board members and everything else, and at least have discussions. That's kind of in our second stage of what we're looking at here. Also, it's, unless you're following, you might not know the CEO of Forward. She was actually a Maryland native. She worked on the Michael Steele's campaign as well. So while the Maryland board, it does seem to lean more left, we are pretty well balanced all up and down.
All right, thanks.
Shiv?
I was just going to add that, yeah, I myself, and I think probably many of us that quote unquote are Democrat aren't Democrat. We're fairly independent swing voters, and sometimes I voted Republican. you're Democrat in Maryland oftentimes because you want a voice in politics. You default there. So, I don't think we're pulling just from Democrats. What we're pulling from are people who are disenfranchised across both parties. Somebody like me, quote unquote, looks Democrat, but I'm not. I've never been. Well, maybe in my earlier years I was, but I haven't been for at least 10 years.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So Elizabeth says she's a lifelong Republican that's frustrated by the system. So Sander, I think what you're going to find make a long story short is that there are people from both sides of the quote unquote aisle here. And we welcome all those points of view, and we're going to be appealing to both sides. And we're starting with appealing to independents who by default are neither. And so those are our core audience at the moment. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. All right, guys, pepper me. Let's hear them. Like the slowest press conference in existence.
But while people are thinking of their questions, also I would like to mention we do have 3 major events coming up. We do have Annapolis Pride. We will be having a table trying to get some signatures there. We will have a street team in Baltimore down the Inner Harbor that will be hitting an O's game, Balticon, and the wine village that's there. That's all happening in downtown Baltimore at the same day. So that seems like a good place for us to be on the street, talk to people, and try and get some signatures. And then as well, we also have Frederick Pride. We will have a table up there. June is Pride Month, so we will have, it's a good place to go meet people and get a lot of face-to-face interactions.
And I'll be able to be there now. Yeah, Brandon, go ahead.
PJ, did you get either the shipments that are coming your way? Have they arrived yet?
You're on mute, PJ.
Since Mike brought up the Baltimore event, just curious if those arrived.
They haven't yet. I'm looking
Oh,
forward
okay.
to seeing them though.
Okay, I thought I got a notice of shipment. I'll touch base with you. I'll touch base with you. Okay.
I have to admit, I expected more of a Ted Lasso style news conference here, but hey, look, you guys don't have questions. That's great. We can let you out early. You have questions. We want to answer them. We want to get you guys involved. We want to get you excited. We're here for you. So you tell us what you want to do.
If nobody has a question, I would like to mention that any of you guys that might think that you're not up for volunteering or that you can't possibly volunteer with the party, a lot of the people that you guys see within this team don't have political backgrounds. A lot of the volunteers across the country for the Forward Party don't have political backgrounds. I myself was a bartender before I was hired by the Forward Party, with no political background as well. So just don't sell yourself short in thinking that you might not have the chops to get involved, or that your experience or your background might not be valued. Definitely reach out to the Maryland team and just let them know what you have to offer.
Thanks, Leslie. That's awesome. And I'll just add to that. I think the only person on our board with any political experience at all is Heinz. In a professional sort of capacity. I myself last participated in the John Kerry campaign, so that's been a little while. But no, I don't have any political experience, and we're making it work. So there's plenty of room for you to figure it out too. And we're all going to make mistakes along the way, and we're going to learn from those mistakes, and we're going to learn together. So don't be afraid of, oh my God, I'm going to screw it up. No, you couldn't screw it up any worse than we're already screwing it up, but we'll figure it out.
And look where you've gotten.
That's
Hey, Matt, I was just going to say, I do I probably didn't share this enough, but I do have a little bit of background in politics as well. But this was back in Illinois. I was helping a friend run for the state house. And it's actually an interesting story that I want to share for a minute because it tells you the power of persistence. He was a good friend. I think my politics was still Democrat leaning at the time, again, about maybe 10, 15 years ago. But not gung-ho Democrat, but he was a good friend and he was a good person. And I wanted to see him enter into politics because I thought he was a good person. And it took an immense amount of knocking on doors, of shoe leather, of standing in front of the grocery store collecting signatures. And it didn't work the first time. It took him the second time to really win it. And that's okay, because then he was influential and he really pushed a lot of important issues through the Illinois state legislature. And I think that's the larger message here is, this is politics, and the way I saw it is defeat is more common than winning when you're really trying to get out there. But persistence is the only way we're going to change things for ourselves and for the next generation. Otherwise, all we have left is complaining and voting, which frankly, I think the way it is today isn't really going to solve our problem because we aren't given the choice at the ballot. By the time we get to the ballot, we're already denied a voice. So, it's our democracy. And I think that experience for me was what really shook me and said, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be lows, there's going to be highs. You just got to stay with it because that's the only way we're going to really end up changing things. And we can't get disheartened.
So we're in for a wild ride. You're all invited along and join us on this whirlwind tour. We're going to have a good time and we're going to make a difference. So thank you all very much for joining us this evening. If there's no other questions, then we'll let you all get back to your families and to your evenings. And we'll be in touch with you shortly. You can count on monthly open meetings like this. And then, of course, we are all available by email at any time. And many of us are happy to jump on a video call as well. So just give us a call. Thanks so much. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Looking forward to hearing from you on the website.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, all.
Good night.